Ask yourself, or whoever's telling you to do it, what does lumbar flexion have to do with a traps stretch and contraction? Hey, what's up, you guys? IFBB Pro Hafid James here. And if you clicked on this video, you know we're going to be talking about how you're doing a wide row, but you're probably not working your traps. What I want to do in this video is go through some common mistakes I see when people's doing their wide rows, and then at the end, go through how I do my wide rows, with the goal of making your workout just more effective. Now, before we go through the mistakes, I always think it's important to understand the function of the muscle. The better you know how the muscle works, the better you know how to train it. Now, your traps or upper back, you have your upper traps, mid traps, lower traps. The upper traps want to pull up and around. Your mid traps want to pull back. Your lower traps want to pull down. So we want to understand this is the function, this is what the muscle wants to do. So how can we take that and apply it to a workout? So the first thing I would recommend, stop overusing your lower back. I'm sure we've all seen it in the gym where someone's swinging right forward and then they're pulling it like they're on the rowing cardio machine. Now, I know this might be contrary to what you see or do, but ask yourself, or whoever's telling you to do it, what does lumbar flexion have to do with a traps stretch and contraction? All you're doing is you're generating momentum to do a workout. And if you're trying to make your workout more effective, we are trying to take all other things out, momentum, unnecessarily using other muscles, and focus on making the traps do as much work as possible. So I would always recommend trying to stay still and not fully stretching forward so you can just pull yourself back. And I've seen over time where because you're putting your back in that state, in that flexion state, that's a lot of weight that you're pulling at the same time where you can mess up your back as well. So I always think effective training makes the workout, the muscles work more and keeps you safer at the same time. Next recommendation, stop overusing your biceps. So whenever you're pulling, your biceps is part of a pulling movement, but you want to make sure when you're pulling the weight, you're not putting your arm in an elbow flexion. This just means you're going to be activating the biceps more. This might happen because you're lifting too much weight, or maybe you're just thinking of pulling the weight back, thinking A to B. But the more you start pulling your arms in this state, the quicker your biceps are going to start getting involved, and you're not going to be hitting your traps as effectively. So always try and make sure whenever you're pulling, I always just recommend focus on pulling back through the elbows and not just pulling everything back where you can start to overuse your arms. Stop overusing your wrist. This is again when people just think, how can I get the weight from point A to point B? So they'll just want to pull it as close as they can to them, and then they'll end up curling the wrist because some people think, the bar has to hit your chest or something. You curling your wrist, you're just going to start activating your wrist, activating your forearms. And again, you're not focused as much on putting all of that load on the traps. Try to leave your wrist alone. And just like with the bicep, just focus on pulling those shoulder blades back, pulling through that elbow, trying to reach as far back as you can with the elbow, but not just thinking, well, I just need to move through space. You were just looking for the stretch and the contraction of the muscle, not seeing how close the bar can get to you. Now, these other ones, you can definitely be working your traps while doing it, but it's just about making sure how to optimize your training. One is try to be very mindful of how close the arms is to your body so you're not overusing your lats. The closer you bring your arms to the body, the more your lats can get involved. But at the same time, you don't want to flare them out high too much because you could start using your rear delts, or you could just be putting a lot of tension on your upper traps. From the way I've seen people do lateral raises, tricep push downs, we overuse our upper traps. Even just think of how people's posture is. So I don't think you should be putting too much attention into that. Quick side note, which is why I don't understand really why people do shoulder shrugs. Our upper traps gets overworked. So I would always try and stay in that middle range. I always say, think of the same range, the same positioning you would do for your chest press. It should be that same mechanically, the same positioning for your row. So just slightly tucked in, and then again, being able to pull it back at the same time. How I do my wide rows. Now, I would always personally use a machine. If you do want me to go through a tutorial using a machine, wide row, or a T-bar row, just let me know in the comments below. But even if I didn't, I would still have that same mindset where one, notice that pad that the machines have, it's not there just for a suggestion, it's there to kind of stop you so you don't use momentum. So I wouldn't want to think, oh, I'm swinging forward and swinging back. I'm thinking, how can I keep my body as stationary as possible? And then I just want to feel my traps stretch forward, feeling again those upper traps, scapula rolling down. And then I want to pull back through the traps. And as I'm pulling back and I'm starting to contract, I want to lift my chest up and then go wrapping my traps right back together. Now, I think that lifting your chest up is an important aspect. You have your agonist and antagonist muscles. It just means opposite opposing muscles. So the more I can stretch my chest when I'm trying to contract, the better contraction I can get in my back. So I want to always think about that posture, which we've talked about before. Lift that chest up. Again, just focus on driving my elbows, pulling my shoulder blades back, and squeezing the muscle as hard as I can before I slowly go back into that stretch. Again, trying to keep myself as still as possible.
Lastly, we had talked about how people overwork their upper traps. It's a very dominant muscle. You want to make sure when you're going through the movement, you're not allowing your upper traps to do too much of the work. So make sure you depress your shoulders to make sure you're not just hitting those upper traps, but you can involve more of your mid to lower traps.
So definitely let me know if this was useful. I want you to try it at the gym and see if you notice once you're isolating yourself, you're not letting yourself rock back and forward. If you notice you can't lift as heavy because now you're focusing on letting just that muscle do the work and you're not using momentum, you're not using other muscles to get involved, which again makes the workout more effective. That'll be it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And check out some of the other videos on the page. And until next time, be happy, be healthy.